The prairies plunged into the deep freeze, the dangers and the things to do to keep safe in this cold. Making the case to run the downtown entertainment district, the group that wants to be considered. And a Prince Albert lacrosse player makes the small screen.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. We begin tonight with the cold. City officials are asking the public to bundle up and, if possible, stay indoors. They're also asking people to use extra caution, saying the extreme cold increases the risk for house fires and carbon monoxide poisoning. CTV's Stacey Hine has that story.
It may look and feel like the Arctic has taken over the prairies, and in a manner of speaking, it has. A ridge of high pressure is driving frigid Arctic air into the region, sending temperatures plunging.
Bitterly cold temperatures, overnight lows, in maybe even into the -40s in some areas. Daytime highs only in the mid-20s.
In some areas, wind chills are expected to be in the -40s and 50s, which can cause frostbite in minutes.
And the colder the wind chill is, it means frostbite happening more quickly.
The Saskatoon Fire Department says the extreme cold can increase the risk for house fires, urging residents to take precautions when using a space heater or fireplace.
We want to make sure that we are using them correctly and according to manufacturers' recommendations, that we are providing proper space around them.
Fire officials also recommend checking exterior exhaust and intake systems. If they freeze, it puts pressure on your furnace, leading to incomplete combustion and potentially dangerous carbon monoxide buildup.
It'll announce carbon monoxide and then go into an alarm.
Fire Marshal Ryan Bradley stresses the importance of having a carbon monoxide detector.
And we also want to make sure that we do have a carbon monoxide monitor on at least every level of our floor, specifically those levels that we sleep on and those levels that we do have those fuel burning appliances on.
Symptoms of carbon monoxide poisoning include headaches, nausea, and dizziness. Bradley says it may be difficult to differentiate between those symptoms and flu symptoms, but says a major giveaway is that everyone in the house is experiencing the same symptoms, or you no longer notice the symptoms when you leave the home.
The cold snap is expected to stick around for a few more days, with some reprieve coming Monday. Temperatures forecasted in the mid-teens. Stacey Hahn, CTV News, Saskatoon.
As the deep freeze continues, Saskatchewan residents are being urged to ensure their vehicles are also protected from the cold. Jacob Carr on what motorists can do to keep their cars in working order.
This is a common and dreaded sound in a Saskatchewan cold snap, the last click and gasp of a vehicle's dead battery. But how do you prevent it when temperatures dip into the -30s?
Temperatures are real, and when we're in Saskatchewan, the best way to prepare for that is to actually be prepared. So think of your car as your body, right? You have your battery, and that is really the lifeline of your car. So you first of all want to take care of that battery.
CAA recommends plugging in vehicles at -15 degrees Celsius and below, but the company says motorists should also have a checklist of things in their vehicle even when it is in working order.
Make sure that you have things like water. Make sure that you have non-perishable food, just some little snacks. You could have anything to do with helping you get out of a situation. So have a shovel, have some booster cables. Maybe make sure that you have a phone charger.
The extreme cold can also have a negative effect on a vehicle's tires. According to Cal Tire, a temperature decrease of 10 degrees can mean the loss of pressure up to 2 pounds per square inch in a tire.
In the past 3-4 days, it's dropped, 20-25 degrees Celsius. That means your tire could have gone down 4 or 6 pounds of pressure, and that's enough to cause a situation where the air pressure in that tire is no longer at operating pressure.
Cal Tire recommends checking tire pressure at least once a month, and Weeb says low tire pressure can cause a lot of problems.
Sometimes if it's a lower pressure, you'll have irregular wear patterns. You can have too much heat, believe it or not. On a day like today, we're talking about too much heat, but a tire will heat up if it's operated at low pressure, and it'll sustain some times irreparable damage.
So when the province's coldest days arrive, a little preparation and maintenance can make a difference, and it is better to be safe than sorry. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
not too long ago, we were talking about record-breaking warmth, and not today. Quite the opposite.
Not today. Quite the opposite indeed. I think Stacey alluded to the cold temperatures in terms of record-breaking, but we can tell you that, yes, this polar vortex, this cold Arctic air mass, has indeed not just regular temperatures in terms of, oh yeah, we get this all the time, but we do have some records broken. And we can let you know that it was 3 locations in the last 24 hours, and they happened to be Assiniboia. They said their old record was minus 35.6. It didn't really change that much, but what is significant, the Assiniboia record was set 60 years ago. So today, at least in the last, yesterday for the 22nd of January, a new temperature record there for Assiniboia. Also, Lucky Lake, their old record was set in 2003, so a 23-year-old record. The new record is minus 36.5. And so no one's really shattering these records, but they're still new records nonetheless. And Rockland, minus 34, the old record 31.7. That was also from 23 years ago. So yes, some very cold conditions. And this cold Arctic air mass, as we've been telling you, not just impacting Saskatchewan and Manitoba in particular. Those are the coldest spots right now, but it's making its way out to the Great Lakes region, Ontario, and Quebec, Atlantic, Canada, and down into the U.S. where it's creating havoc. So we'll talk more about all of those things later on.
Leadership at Sasktel Centre is pushing the city to keep arena management local when the downtown event and entertainment district becomes a reality. Keenan Sorokon now on the calls and who they're hoping will be on board with the idea.
Sasktel Centre leadership is making its pitch to run the arena and convention centre of the eventual downtown event and entertainment district.
We're doing an outstanding job, and that we are a viable alternative to, a national or international company.
At a luncheon hosted by the North Saskatoon Business Association on Thursday, executives of Sasktel Centre spoke and answered questions about operating the flagship buildings of the district. Rather than starting brand new, the CEO of Sasktel Centre says the city shouldn't look far for an experienced team that knows the market.
I'm really confident that in a new facility, given modern amenities, that we'll be able to do some really remarkable things.
The city evaluated proposals for arena operators in 2024 and eventually started negotiating a deal with American-based Oakview Group, which runs dozens of venues across North America. But there's been some snags getting the deal finalized since then. In October, City Council didn't approve the 15-year deal and deferred it until later this winter after a series of changes were made to the contract surrounding its length and impact on city coffers.
If we can keep all the money by running it ourselves and not having partners and having to share it out, why wouldn't we if we know we can run it as well or better?
Earlier this week, City Council discussed amalgamating the boards of TCU Place and Sasktel Centre since they're looking for one operating partner downtown in the future.
Oakview doesn't have 400 employees waiting to move to Saskatoon and take over the arena or to take over TCU Place. They're an operational organization point. They're a management company.
Mayor Cynthia Block agrees Sasktel Centre leadership has done great things, but she's not ruling anything out.
We will have some big decisions to make in this term, and I guess all I hope is that however that plays out, that it is a resounding success over the next 4 years as it has been in the last.
Block wasn't able to say if Sasktel Centre Brass organized an official bid to become the downtown arena operator, but she knows they didn't come to council before Thursday's luncheon. Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A man shot by police during the search of a home last month is now facing charges. SPS says on December 19th, members of the Tactical Support Unit were conducting a warrant at a home in the 1500 block of Rayner Avenue in the Sutherland neighborhood. During the incident, a man police are calling a suspect was shot by a police officer. On Wednesday, investigators charged the man with attempted murder and making death threats. He was taken to hospital after being shot, where he remains in stable condition. The Saskatchewan Serious Incident Response Team is investigating the officer-involved shooting. A 25-year-old Saskatoon man behind the wheel of a vehicle that collided with another, killing one person and leaving 2 others injured, has pleaded guilty to 3 charges against him. Wiley Gunnar Vermette was charged following this crash that happened on June 11, 2024 on Quebec Avenue near 39th Street East. A 22-year-old woman died of her injuries. 2 others were injured, 1 paralyzed. This week, Vermette pleaded guilty to 1 count of dangerous driving causing death and 2 counts of dangerous driving causing bodily harm. Police said at the time of the crash, the truck Vermette was driving was traveling at a high rate of speed and that he did not have a valid driver's license. Vermette is scheduled to be sentenced on April 30th. A man wanted by RCMP after 2 people were assaulted and chased into a forested area near Prince Albert has been arrested. 30-year-old Justin Charles was arrested by Prince Albert police yesterday. Earlier this month, RCMP say they were called to help rescue a man and a woman who ran from a suspect who had been assaulted. One of them shot at them and then took them into a wooded area in the RM of Buckland. RCMP used a drone and a police dog to help guide the victims to safety as they became lost while running from the suspect. Charles is facing a string of weapons and assault charges. We are learning more tonight about accusations against a former Regina police officer who admitted to using police databases to access the personal information of more than 24 women. As Donovan Mace tells us, he was at today's sentencing arguments and has the details.
A Regina judge has reserved her sentencing decision in the case of former Regina police officer Robert Semenchuk, who used internal police databases to pursue personal relationships with women over the span of 8 years. Semenchuk pleaded guilty to breach of trust and unauthorized use of a computer charges in November. Now, according to an agreed statement of facts, the 22-year member of the Regina Police Service accessed the information of 33 women, with the Crown saying Semenchuk engaged in intimate relationships with more than 10 of them between February 2015 and April 2023. At times, he used an alias and lied about his name and occupation. Several of the victims appearing in court Friday reading victim impact statements, with one saying, "When I found out the sweet, kind, gentle Jay Lewis was actually Sergeant Robert Semenchuk of the Regina Police Service, my world came crashing down. I did not consent to an intimate relationship with Sergeant Robert Semenchuk." Another woman said, "I consented to intimacy with divorced engineer Steve Perkins." Now, many of the women claiming a loss of trust in all police officers, with another victim saying, "You had no right to take what was mine and what was supposed to be protected. When I learned of your actions, the feeling of invasion was intense." Regina Police Chief Laura Lee Davies also reading a statement to the court. "As leader of this organization, you've embarrassed me, all of your former co-workers and future members of the Regina Police Service, and you have caused profound and irreparable harm to numerous individuals in our community." Semenchuk then voicing his remorse in response. "To everyone that was affected by this, I am truly sorry." Now, the Crown and defense presented a joint sentencing submission to the court asking for 2 years on house arrest and 3 years probation. Judge Marilyn Beaton says she will review this submission but won't necessarily accept it, reserving her decision, which is now expected February 6th. Donovan May, CTV News, Regina.
Saskatoon has added new affordable housing units as part of the country's efforts to respond to the housing crisis. 73 new suites are open in Métis Veterans Plaza on Hart Road. It's the result of a joint partnership between the province, the federal government, the City of Saskatoon, Camponi Housing Corporation, and Sask Native Rentals. It includes 37 market rental units, 19 affordable units, and 17 accessible one-bedroom units. Camponi says this project started more than a decade ago.
This plaza is not just a place to live, it is a place to belong, to practice culture, to reconnect, and to rebuild the systems of care that have always sustained us.
I think it stands right now as a shining example of what we can do based on what they've been able to achieve here.
The federal government's national housing strategy is a 10-plus year, $115 billion plus plan to give more Canadians a home. The U of S Huskies are playing more than some crucial games on the ice this weekend. They are also honoring a former player who lost his battle to cancer.
We'd really like to just thank everyone that supported Cody's legacy over the years and continues to keep his spirit alive within the rink and outside the rink.
This week, the parents of former Huskies player Cody Smuck spoke online about their son's courageous battle with cancer and his passion for life, hockey, and people. Smuck played in the WHL before joining the Huskies in 2010. He lost his battle with cancer in 2015. The Huskies will continue their Huskies Fight Cancer campaign tomorrow night when the men's hockey team hosts Alberta at Merlis Belcher Place. The evening will see Chuck LeCure and Huskies men's hockey honor alumni Cody Smuck and will raise money to fund cancer treatment equipment at the Saskatoon Cancer Centre. Last weekend, the women's hockey team wore special pink jerseys as part of the campaign and raised over $19,000 for the Cancer Centre in its annual Play for a Cure game. A Prince Albert lacrosse player has made his reality TV debut this month on Canada's own Jersey Shore spin-off series. Jasmine Pelche on the rise to fame.
My name is Bauer Swiston. I'm a lacrosse player. You know what? Yeah, that one went right through.
Prince Albert's Bauer Swiston is hitting the small screen and making his reality TV debut as one of the main cast members on Jersey Shore spin-off series Canada Shore. Shot in Kelowna, the show brings together 10 young singles for what it describes as a whirlwind season of romance, friendships, and full-throttle fun. Swiston grew up in Prince Albert before leaving to pursue his lacrosse career. When he was scouted for the show, he says it was an opportunity he couldn't pass up.
Was just living in South Carolina at the time. I think it was about just over a year ago, as last November, I think. And I was like, you know what? Why not? Like, who knows what this could open up for me?
The reality star is now based in Ontario.
There's definitely aspects. I miss a summer in Prince Albert, nothing like going to the lake, grandpa's cabin, summer, winter, being able to ice fish, go sledding. It's can't do a lot of that stuff here. So I definitely take advantage of opportunities when I'm able to go home.
His sister says when he first told his family he was scouted for the show, they could hardly believe it.
We're like, Bauer, this isn't real. Like, you're a boy from PA.
The family celebrated the premiere with a watch party.
I hope everyone likes him. We were really nervous. We were like, what's Bauer going to be like? Like, we think we know what Bauer's like, but who knows? But we're really proud of him. And the first 2 episodes, he did a really good job. And we're excited to see what the rest of the season has for him.
Canada Shore premiered Thursday on Paramount Plus. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
Still to come, a former Olympic athlete turned fugitive, now in custody, how the FBI got their man. Also, what we're learning about the death of a Canadian woman in Australia. You're watching CTV News live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us. Former Canadian Olympic snowboarder turned international fugitive Ryan Wedding is now in the custody of the FBI. The 44-year-old was on the agency's top 10 most wanted list for allegedly running a violent transnational drug trafficking network. The manhunt finally came to an end in Mexico City after he turned himself in to the U.S. Embassy. Camille Caramali now on Wedding's arrest and the crimes he stands accused of.
This is a moment more than a decade in the making. Former Canadian Olympian Ryan Wedding in handcuffs, surrounded by police, brought to U.S. soil to face a litany of charges. The 44-year-old from Thunder Bay, Ontario, arrested last night in Mexico City. A Mexican official saying today a Canadian voluntarily surrendered at the U.S. Embassy.
This is what a united front looks like.
It marks the end of a manhunt spanning an entire continent and coordination between police in 3 countries.
Here we are today, bringing him to justice for trafficking hundreds of kilos of cocaine and also for the murder of innocent civilians.
Wedding was first wanted by the RCMP in 2015. After fleeing Canada, he allegedly began building a multi-billion-dollar drug smuggling empire, trafficking tons of cocaine to the U.S. and Canada each year. Last year, finding himself on the FBI's 10 most wanted list after being accused of orchestrating the murder of a federal witness who was set to testify against him. He allegedly ordered a hit on a home in Caledon, Ontario that mistakenly resulted in the killing of an innocent family. The Bureau offering a $15 million reward for his capture, the heat ramping up in November when RCMP arrested several of his associates in Canada and Mexican authorities seized millions of dollars of his assets.
You're going to find a lot more other individuals who are going to come forward and say, listen, I'd rather give you the information. I'll tell you, I'll testify. just don't put me in jail.
We will not comment on anyone regarding the rewards.
Few details released by officials today, with many left waiting for answers, including those who knew him.
In some ways, I can understand, the path that he took just because of the lack of funding in Canadian sport in general.
Wedding will be held in custody over the weekend, facing a list of charges related to murder and drug trafficking, with his first court appearance slated for Monday morning. Kamal Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
In Australia, a preliminary assessment has been completed on the body of a Canadian woman found on a beach earlier this week. An autopsy has found physical evidence consistent with drowning in the death of 19-year-old Piper James. Her body was discovered surrounded by a number of wild dogs, but the coroner says dingo bites are not likely to have caused her death. Officials are now waiting for pathology results, which are expected to take several weeks. Global Affairs Canada is providing consular assistance to James' family, who is from Campbell River, BC. She was in Australia for a backpacking trip with a friend. With Arctic security front and center, Canada's role in the north is being scrutinized by allies and adversaries. Heather Wright is in the Northwest Territories and has more on what Canadian troops are doing there.
Well, we are here with Joint Task Force North in Yellowknife, some of the members of the Canadian Armed Forces deployed up here in the north. And with so much attention on the Arctic and Arctic security, we know that protecting Canada's Arctic is not just having radar systems or having military bases, it's also having a presence. And so that's what these members are doing today. They're out on the snowmobile, they're doing training exercises, part of this ongoing deployment in the north, and it's also getting used to living and working and serving in these harsh conditions. It's minus 30 right now, minus 40 with the wind chill, and that's something that these troops, that these Canadian Armed Forces members have to deal with every single day as they are out here serving in the Arctic and having a presence here in Yellowknife and beyond.
Visibility, presence, definitely one, our powerful mission here, and we're covering like 40% of Canada's landmass, 75% of its coastline, and through 4 time zones.
The federal government has committed to spending billions of dollars more on the Canadian Armed Forces, and that includes money for Arctic security. And even earlier this week, Prime Minister Mark Carney said part of solving the crisis with Greenland is beefing up security here in the north. Heather Wright, CTV News, Yellowknife.
In Minneapolis, public tension with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents have testified after a 5-year-old boy and his father were detained on Tuesday. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance says the child was not arrested and that officers were targeting his father.
When they went to arrest his illegal alien father, the father ran. So the story is that ICE detained a 5-year-old. Well, what are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to let a 5-year-old child freeze to death? Are they not supposed to arrest an illegal alien in the United States of America?
The U.S. Department of Homeland Security says the boy's father was in the country illegally but did not provide details or mention any criminal history. The lawyer representing the family says they entered the U.S. lawfully to seek asylum. Minneapolis School District and city officials say U.S. immigration's authorities have detained at least 4 children this month as part of U.S. President Donald Trump's immigration crackdown.
It is so cold outside. Who in their right mind is going to go out in weather like this? You, that's who. That's right, it's Andrew McDonald of the Saskatoon Soaps Improv Comedy. Just wanting to let you know that we are making our Winterruption Festival debut. That's right, we are doing a show at the Broadway Theatre Saturday night, January 24th. With the mighty Kevin McDonald of the Kids in the Hall. We are debuting a rock opera called Superstar. Tickets are still available at thebroadwaytheatre.ca. Now, Jeff, I'm a little bit nervous to ask this, but what's the weather going to be like?
Well, it's going to be cold. Not as cold as today, but it's still going to be cold. But people will be indoors at the Broadway Theatre enjoying this rock opera that Kevin McDonald has crafted. It's going to be fun. I guarantee. Anyhow, let's guarantee these temperatures. I know you wish I could back away from them, but minus 27 tomorrow for a daytime high. Mainly cloudy skies. Once again, the showtime is 8 o'clock at the Broadway Theatre. You can go to broadwaytheatre.ca to get tickets. And please be careful out there tomorrow, because even with a little bit of wind, that's going to be cold. We'll talk about all of that in the forecast in greater detail. It's minus 30 degrees right now in Saskatoon, minus 31 in Prince Albert and the Battlefords. And again, even these little bits of wind, light winds, these temperatures feeling closer to minus 40, or certainly in the high minus 30s. Our daytime high today, minus 29 degrees. And for those of you who were wondering, I said yesterday at this time that our temperature at midnight would probably be our 24-hour high for yesterday. That was the case. So yesterday's official 24-hour high, 37 degrees. Today's official, minus 39. Minus 12 degrees for a typical daytime high in Saskatoon. So we're way, way, way below that. 6 degrees on the plus side in 1968 for a daytime high, for a record high, and the record cold temperature minus 48 once again from the year 1943, a very cold January 1943. 9 is when the sun came up, and 5:38 is when it went down.
Coming up, bringing new meaning to Stars on Ice, what has some in Ontario doing a double take.
Your Morning Saskatchewan, addressing domestic violence. We have details on a new training program from Women's Shelters Canada on how you can help out. It all starts at 6.
All right, a beautiful but cold evening here as we take a look through the live lens of Skycam. A great shot of the South Saskatchewan and the light reflecting off the snow. But yes, it's straight up cold out there, and it's going to continue to be cold as we roll into the rest of the weekend and the early part of next week. More on that later. Let's take a look at our satellite and radar shot here. Not a lot of active weather to talk about, but I will point out that yes, we have this little area here that might bring some upsloping winds, might bring some snow to parts of Alberta. But otherwise, the big deal is going to be, and already is in place, Texas up to the Carolinas. Ice storms are expected, and north of those ice storms, we're looking at snow. Places like New York City are expecting a big dump of snow, and points in between. So it's a messy situation. So certainly, if you've got travel plans that will have connecting flights or connected to the U.S., that could be in jeopardy. So keep that in mind, and keep the cold in mind as well. Let's take a look at our numbers just to remind us how cold it is. It is minus 30 degrees in Saskatoon, minus 31 in the Battlefords and Prince Albert, and feeling colder with just that slight breeze. The hot spot in the province was Maple Creek at minus 19 degrees. The cold spot, a very cold minus 44 degrees for Uranium City. Minus 27 in Lloydminster and Estevan, minus 25 in Swift Current, minus 31 in the Queen City, and minus 29 in Yorkton. As we take a look at central parts of our province, temperatures ranging from a very cold minus 32. That is in Watrous, and then it warms up, if I can use that turn of phrase. The warmest it gets on this part of our map is minus 25 in Meadow Lake. It's minus 28 in Hudson Bay, and in Kindersley, minus 31 in Nipawin. Minus 37 right now in Stony Rapids. Most locations in the minus 30s for this part of our map, but minus 26 for Buffalo Narrows. And down south, we have temperatures in the minus 20s for the western side of the province. And as you migrate towards the east, temperatures drop off significantly closer to the minus 30 degree mark. So yes, it is a very cold day in Saskatchewan, top to bottom, side to side. There are extreme cold warnings in effect for the entire province. You can see on the futurecast that area of purple, as I mentioned, some upsloping winds. We may see some flurries in Alberta, but nothing much for Saskatchewan. Maybe a little bit down in the extreme southwestern corner. Mix of sky conditions for northern Saskatchewan with temperatures in the high minus 20s, low minus 30s. Not much improvement in west central parts of the province. Minus 26 in Meadow Lake, minus 24 in Spiritwood, minus 22 in Kindersley, and minus 23 in Rosetown. Minus 17 in Maple Creek. Again, a little bit of snow might be there. Minus 17, as I mentioned, and temperatures of minus 21 in Leader and Swift Current, minus 26 in Outlook, minus 31 for Yorkton, minus 25 for Regina, minus 24 in Moose Jaw, minus 22 in Estevan, and temperatures in the high minus 20s for east central Saskatchewan on Saturday. On to the Battlefords, dropping down to minus 33 degrees tonight, minus 26 tomorrow, as we emphasized yesterday, and we will continue to do so as the temperatures stay cold. Exposed skin freezes in minutes. digits, minus 18 on Sunday, and then this slow warming trend. And look at that. By the time we get to Thursday, back to minus single digits. For Prince Albert, an overnight temperature of minus 38 degrees. It will feel closer to minus 45 thereabouts. Minus 28 tomorrow. Mainly cloudy conditions. Minus 21 on Sunday. Minus 15, not so bad on Monday, but then cooling off a bit. But then that warming trend starts to take effect. Minus 9 1 week from today. And Saskatoon's overnight temperature minus 33, feeling like minus 40. Tomorrow's high minus 28, but will likely feel around minus 36 degrees. And then minus 21 on Sunday, minus 15 on Monday. And then that warming trend up to above seasonal temperatures starting on Wednesday. And 1 week from today, minus 8. The Eagles, originally known as just Eagles, have made music history. The band's 1976 album, titled Their Greatest Hits 1971 to 1975, has sold more than 40 million units. I've got one of them. It's now the best-selling album of all time in the United States. That's according to a new certification from the Recording Industry Association of America. The Eagles formed in the early 1970s and mastered the mix of rock and roll and country music. Their hits, including Hotel California, Take It Easy, and Desperado, became part of the soundtrack of that decade. Did you enjoy that, Chantel? She's shaking her head. No, she's nodding yes. Yes, she says yes.
Get away from that! Get out of there!
Two remakes topped the list of nominations for the 2026 Razzie Awards, honoring the worst films and performances of the year. War of the Worlds, based off the classic novel by H.G. Wells, is tied for most nominations at 6. That includes Worst Actor for lead actor Ice Cube. Also with 6 nods is Disney's Snow White, including Worst Supporting Actor for, quote, all 7 artificial dwarves. Hurry Up Tomorrow, starring The Weeknd and Jenna Ortega, not far behind with 5 nominations. The 46th Razzie Award winners, well, make that recipients, will be announced March 14th. That's the day before the Oscars. After releasing his first new single in years overnight, Harry Styles shared the music video this afternoon. This is Styles' new electronic-style track, Aperture. The video shows the singer running from fighting with and dancing with a stranger in an empty hotel. It's the first track off Styles' upcoming album, Kiss All the Time, Disco Occasionally. It's out on March 6th ahead of his Together Together tour, which does not have a Canadian stop. Now, we shouldn't feel snubbed. The only stop in the USA is New York City, although that is a 2-month residency at Madison Square Garden. 2 months.
That's true. Well, you know, maybe he'll change his mind. You never know.
You never know.
All right, time for Pick of the Day. What do you got?
Well, we have a triple hit, and yes, we are paying homage to the great outdoors. Once again, this from Lori, taken around 2 a.m. last night when it was minus 41 degrees. So, Lori, good for you to go outside in those kind of conditions and get this great shot of the Northern Lights. So thank you for sharing that with us. The next one from Marina. This one was from this morning. Sunrise in around rural North Battleford. The temperature, minus 40, and that is a wild-looking picture. Yeah, I love sort of like the desolate nature of those trees there, but very beautiful. Thank you, Marina, for sharing that. And finally, from Butch, Settlers Ridge, east of Saskatoon, a moose came to visit. That's right. That's a good-looking moose, I guess. All right. We can tell you that if you'd like to share an image with us, you can do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca, and please put Pick of the Day in the subject line.
Still to come on CTV News, when heated rivalry turns into a body double, the Ontario hockey player turning a stand-in into a skate-in. By now, you've likely heard of the hit Crave television series Heated Rivalry. The film, shot in Ontario, has made stars of many of its cast. But there's also some homegrown hockey talent on the show that isn't getting the same recognition. CTV's Spencer Turcotte explains.
Third-year accounting student Jonah DeSimone thought his hockey career at the University of Guelph was winding down.
I had 2 concussions last year, so decided to step away from the team.
But his on-ice time was revived in a roundabout way.
I knew there was going to be like a gay hockey show filming in Guelph, and someone on production reached out to our coach Josh, looking for, for some extras.
Turns out Jonah's height and weight fit the bill perfectly to be a body double for Hudson Williams, a co-star in the smash Crave hit Heated Rivalry, which is a romantic drama that shines a light on LGBTQ2S+ representation in hockey. And just to be clear, given the spicy scenes...
No, only the on-ice scenes.
When audiences see Hudson Williams' character Shane Hollander showing off his skills on the ice, it's actually Jonah.
For the All-Star sequence and one of the first 2 episodes, I spent like an hour working with Hudson on how would it look when I'm shooting?
He says the actor was receptive to learning the mannerisms of a hockey player. They had to ensure everything was identical between them for scenes where Jonah stepped in, how their sticks were taped, how their skates were tied, and even the chirps.
I get chirped for being a bad chirper. He gave me the lowdown of the situation. I would say go home, right? I think it's a good chirp. And apparently everyone thought it was very fitting for the character that he's a bad chirper. And I was I thought it was kind of good.
The show has been greenlit for a 2nd season, and Jonah is hoping he'll be back as a body double.
I'm just waiting for the call, and I'll come back with some better chirps for next season.
Spencer Turcotte, CTV News, Guelph.
I can reach over and...
When we come back, the Saskatchewan talent plucked as prospects for an upcoming game, and later when robots hit a high note.
All right, welcome back. Time to check in on the chilly rural forecast for Saturday. And it's still cold. Not as cold as yesterday, but let's not kid ourselves. Once we're into the -20s, that's still cold. As you can see, 25 on the minus side for Lloydminster, 22 for Kindersley, 26 for Meadow Lake, -29 for Melford, -26 for Hudson Bay, Wynyard, -29 degrees, making our way into southern Saskatchewan, -21 in a few locations, Rockland, -18 in East End, Maple Creek, as I mentioned earlier, a chance of some flurry activity, but that's short-lived. And as we make our way towards the eastern side of the province, -31 in Kenora, -27 in Broadview, -23 in Carlisle. What about Leader? Well, we saw a little bit of it there, -21 degrees under cloudy skies, but this is the deal. Even with a northerly wind at just 10 kilometers an hour, that -21 is going to feel like -26 degrees. So it's a cold day across the province. That includes Leader. And Leader is one of the places where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
Bren Lawther will have some competition at Riders training camp this year as the Riders are bringing back American kicker Michael Hughes.
Ball's been popping off his leg pretty good so far tonight. And he makes no mistake there. Lots of leg to go.
Hughes was brought in last year with Lawther struggling. He appeared in 1 game, making all his kicks 2 field goals, 1 from 42 yards and 2 extra points. Last season, Winnipeg had the only CFL team that used an American kicker constantly. A handful of Saskatchewan talent will represent the province at the WHL Prospects game next month. The game features the 44 best draft-eligible players based on NHL Central Scouting rankings in an East versus West matchup. Prince Albert Raiders defenseman Daxon Rudolph will be joined by goalie Mikhail Orshulak and forward Jonah Severtson. For the Saskatoon Blades, defenseman Braden Klimke has been selected, as well as forwards Zach Olson and Cooper Williams. The WHL Prospects game goes February 18th in Langley, BC. 3 downtown Las Vegas hotels are getting creative in an effort to win back Canadian tourism. The hotels are accepting the loonie at par with the American dollar, not just for accommodations, but at resort bars and casinos. Here's Tim Brooke.
Over the cold Canadian winter months, Las Vegas usually sees Canucks flock to the city in the desert, but not so much as of late.
There's something clearly missing, and that's the lack of Canadian tourism.
Las Vegas air traffic is down almost 10% year over year, and the biggest declines are coming from Canadian Airlines, Vegas's largest international market.
Canadian tourism on a monthly basis it's been down anywhere from 25% to 50%.
And so, new incentives. Downtown hotels Circa, the D, and Golden Gate have begun accepting the struggling Canadian dollar at par with the American dollar.
If you don't stay here, no sweat. We have a bar in each one of our 3 hotels that we've designated as a Canadian bar. And then if you have $500 Canadian, we'll give you $500 American in a voucher to play slots at any one of our 3 casinos.
The push follows similar tourism moves in Washington, Montana, California, and even at Walt Disney World.
Losing even a fraction of that traffic means that we lose billions in tourist spending, and tens of thousands of jobs are at stake. That's significant, especially given the general malaise in the economy.
This slowing travel demand can be linked directly back to the re-election of U.S. President Donald Trump. Among Canadians who have not recently traveled to the States, 34% cite their feelings about Trump or the way America is treating Canada.
And you now understand why Canadians have stopped going to tourist destinations like Las Vegas. Every state can tell you how much their economy is losing.
Just not wanting to support what's going on right now makes sense.
It's not worth it like that, and Trump's being crazy. So
hotel owners say they understand deals alone won't be enough for many travelers, but they hope some rethink the boycotts.
We miss our best friends.
Tim Brooke, CTV News, Calgary.
Coming up, when robots become realistic singers. Then the surprise in store for one TV host doing squats.
Select Hair Services brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
Stay with us for another great night of television starting tonight with Celebrity Wheel of Fortune. All right, well, that was kind of not really singing, but you know,
it wasn't
like
singing
this next
at all.
story. Robots are getting more and more human-like, we know, but this week the world's first lip-syncing robot was unveiled.
So real, why do they deceive me? I just want to feel.
The robot's creators say they trained the robot with AI by having a prototype look into a mirror to learn basic face gestures. Next, they had the robot watch YouTube videos, learning how humans move their face when they talk, sing, and listen. Then they trained the robot to move its motors in response to various sounds. Researchers say they are working on improving the technology to become even more realistic over time.
That is wild. Exactly.
And a little creepy.
A little creepy, but, you know, hey, you know, I'm sure it'll be a judge on, you know, The Masked Singer very soon.
It's possible.
Anything can happen. Anything can happen.
Well, anything can happen on live TV, we know, right? But our colleagues on Your Morning Ottawa learned that firsthand this week.
Perfect. So we're going to go down into a squat. Oh my God, no.
And they
literally
Host Will Aiello discovered why you don't wear a suit while you're doing squats. He ripped his pants during a segment on the show. Luckily, his co-host was nearby to help him, but that's quite the rip.
It's like maybe Will had a few extra, you know, pounds after the holidays or something, you know.
Oh, okay. Or just don't do squats in
that
dress
might
pants.
be it, you know. That's probably it, you know.
Good for him for trying, though.
Yeah, I think on the other morning shows they have, you know, sweats and stuff.
Okay.
Exactly.
Maybe he forgot them at home. Who knows?
Kelly, Lee, and Mark, I think they got the sweats. Anyhow, are we ready to go here?
Kelly?
Click. Yeah. What did I call her?
Kelly Lee.
Yeah, whatever. That's a Lettermanism, and I just can't get by it. Knights of Columbus indoor games. Oh, that's something else.
Are you okay?
Cloudy conditions, and it's going to be cold. The cold is getting to me.
Yeah.
And we've got ourselves some cold conditions we have to deal with for the next day, and then we're starting to make a bit of a break on Monday.
As Jeff was saying, the Knights of Columbus indoor games underway at the Field House for another year. The Invitational Indoor Track and Field Meet is into its 59th year. Did you know that?
I did not.
Well, it is. The annual event bringing in thousands of students, Special Olympic athletes, and a few dozen international track and field athletes. The games got underway yesterday, and they are going to wrap up tomorrow. So we'll leave you with some highlights from that. Have a safe weekend. Stay warm.
Take care.